What's up, Tiger Squad? Welcome back to another video of Keri Vlogs. I'm Keri, and this is my vlog. And today, I'm going to be showing you guys another one of my favorite apps, such as a drawing app called Procreate. Procreate's a drawing app that you can use to color and do anything you want, really. This video is not sponsored. I just want to make sure you guys knew. And now I'm going to show you guys all the tips for it and everything. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the coloring. This is the color thing. You press it, and you can just change your color. There are five different color things. You can just adjust it, the circle, like you do on many other type of coloring apps. And then you have the little lines where you can slide it to your color. Then you have the harmony one, where you can just choose a different one and a different wheel. Then you have the value one. And the value, you can pretty much just change that color and the way it looks also. And then you have the palettes. Sometimes if you follow the tutorial, they'll give you palettes with it, and other times they won't. But I usually follow a lot of tutorials, and sometimes I also make my own tutorials. Not tutorials, but palettes. And so if I choose this color right here, then if I didn't like that color, then I could just press it. Like if you just press it once, it goes to the previous color. You kind of have to hold down on it a little bit. And if you press it and then drag it down, it fills your screen. And then the little line at the top is the color threshold. You can choose how much you want it to fill, because if you're filling something in like a circle, then that means that it will like remove all the white lines of it. I'm just going to put it at 100%. If you put it at 100%, then it's just going to fill the whole canvas. So you don't want to do that sometimes. And so now, if you press 2 fingers, you can go back and undo your color drop. So I'm going to choose the color drop for now to shop. I think I'm going to do a blue. And two ways you can do this is you can either put it on this layer, which is on the layers button, or you could go to background color and then press like a layer. But since I already put a layer on the first one, if I just decide that I want to clear that layer, then there would already be a new layer there. So I'm going to have that as my background color. And then you have the eraser. The eraser you can use to do cool reveals of your art, or you can use it to just erase a certain piece of your art. And there are different brushes that come with it, just like on the paint and smudge one tools. And so you can just go down and click different ones, like the flips brush, and you can just like flick it around. But there is nothing to erase on this layer, so we wouldn't need that one. The next one is smudge. Smudge, you pretty much just choose a brush and it'll let you smudge it around. So I'm going to go to my paintbrush. And the same with the paintbrush. That's the one you can actually write with without all the extra things. Now, if you want a way straighter line, you could always pull your streamline back up to max, because max is a good layer to have it at if you want to get the straightest line you can get. And then jitter, fall off, spacing, you can just have it at none for the calligraphy monoline brush. Monoline brush is the brush you might want to use a lot, especially if you want to fill something in, or else you'd have to go over it a bunch of times with certain other brushes, just because of how it works. Some go small to thick, some go thick to small, so it'd be great to have one of these. So I'm just going to write my name, Keri. I'll put vlogs again. Keri Vlogs. And so if I go to the smudge tool, I can press the mono one and I can choose the size that I want it at. I think I'm going to go for 24%, and then you can just smudge it and you'll start seeing a difference. The higher it is, the better and more it smudges. If I have it at 100, it'll just smudge like this, because the monoline brush, it is meant to be thick, but it's not going to be that thick. Then 2 fingers, you 2 fingers and you just press down, and you can go back, it's your backspace. And so then the next thing is the arrow. There are four different types of things for arrow. For the first one, you have free form. Free form lets you do whatever. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can pretty much just do whatever you want with it. Now flip back the other way. Uniform, you can only go smaller or bigger or rotate it. You can flip horizontal, rotate it 45 degrees to where you want it to be. You can make it fit the screen. And then I never actually had to use the linear brush, but they also have the reset button where if you don't like it, you can just reset the whole thing. And here you have your snapping, and you usually just want to keep it at one type of setting the whole time unless you watch a tutorial and they tell you otherwise. So the distance is 4 and the velocity is 3.2. You can also turn on your magnetics and you can turn off your snapping if you want, or you can have both of them on. Magnetics pretty much just lets it stay the same shape at the same space. While snapping, it can make you go towards the center. So this is the middle center, but if I wanted the actual like center of the photo, well, canvas, and this would be it. Another thing is our canvases. Canvases are pretty much just like the the canvas. It's the thing you paint on. However, like your pixels, I have a 4,000 by 4,000 pixels, so I only get a maximum of 11 or 12 layers. If you have a 2,000 by 300, 2,300 pixels by 3,000 pixels, then you can get more than 12 layers on there. And that's what some art tutorials have you do. And so if it just has a blank background, then it's good for you. But if you want it to fit completely, then maybe it's not the best one for you to choose. Then the next one is it's the S. There's not really a specific name for it, just the S. And so here, your selection tool. So you have the automatic where you can pretty much it just fills it if you want. And so then you have it has remove, invert. I've never actually really used automatic. I mostly use the freehand and the rectangle ones. Freehand, it just lets you trace out your cutout however you want to trace it out. So I can trace out my K. And then what I can do is I can either swipe three with three fingers and sometimes it'll just disappear. You have to do it right though. I haven't used freehand in a long time though, but it does work. And then you have rectangle. Rectangle lets you, well, create a perfect rectangle around the selected thing you want. You press color fill, it'll automatically fill with the color that's selected. If you don't want color fill, you can just undo it. And you can, if you use three fingers to swipe down, well, yeah, like that. So you have all your options: copy, paste, duplicate, cut, all of those, which are also in your layers. You just you just have to press the layer, and I'll show you all those things as well. But for duplicate, you have to swipe to the right, well, left, I guess. And on the right, you'll have lock, duplicate, and delete. Delete, you delete the layer. Duplicate, you can, well, duplicate, which means you just get a new image of it. And then delete that image. And then ellipse lets you create a circle or oval, depending on how you like it. And does the same thing. And then you have one, I actually really like this one, it's the wand tool. I haven't used all the tools on the wand tool, but I'm going to show you my favorite ones to use. So the gradient map, it lets you choose different types of colors. You get the breeze, you have mystic, instant. These are all, like, they fade. Pinks. I like the neon one the best. You can pretty much just choose the ones that you want. I'm going to choose kind of a teal, I guess. Well, not teal, but dark blue. And then another one of my favorite tools, Gaussian blur. I actually use Gaussian blur a lot. You slide it to the right or left and it adjusts it. So I'm going to slide it not that far, but this far, because then you can still kind of see it. You can still kind of see the original one, but not the other one. So it just pretty much blurs it however much you want to blur. And I can show you an example of that. And so motion blur, you press the layer and it slides. And I never actually used motion blur. I used it like one time before, but the motion blur doesn't really affect what I have, but it can affect other art if you know what you're doing. And then there's perspective blur. Perspective blur I'm pretty sure it just lets you blur like one part of it. I don't actually have to use perspective blur either, but I really like all the blurs. Then you have noise. The noise, like clouds, the scale. I'm just going to see because I don't really use the noise button. It just seems really cool. And then you also have sharpen. It pretty much just makes your picture more clear. And then you have bloom. Bloom makes it brighter depending on it. And so I just put bloom at 100 because it doesn't affect the exact art that I'm doing. And then you have glitch. Glitch is pretty much exactly how it sounds. It makes your pictures glitch, like a TV, or like any type of just game thing. And then you also have liquify. I haven't used halftone or chromatic aberration, but I have used liquify a lot. And there are different liquify ones, so if you rotate your screen, you can also get really a lot of options. You have the push button. You can only use two fingers to like adjust the way it works. And you have the push button, lets you push in your art, lets you push in whatever you want. It's not really showing good examples, so I'm going to go back to my first layer and show the push button, liquify. So you have push. You can push in your letters and pretty much your art. Then you have the swirl right button. Swirls to the right, swirl left, swirls to the left. Then you have the pinch. I'll reset, and pinch brings it in more than it brings it out. And then you have expand. It pretty much does exactly what it does. It expands your art. Then crystals. It gives it sharp edges like this, like a crystal. So I guess it kind of says its name for it. Then edge. I've never actually used edge before, but I'm pretty sure just like it just offers another type of tool. You probably will only need these if like it's a tutorial or you're just trying to do something freestyle. I've never actually used reconstruct before, but I'm pretty sure just this distortion isn't on for reconstruct. So if I just turn it on, then maybe it'll work. So photo. I guess you can't have distortion for this one, but you could try and figure the reconstruct one out. If you do, comment down below what it does and how it works. And so then over here you have the tools. The tools, there are the bunch of them. You have insert file, insert a photo, take a photo, add text. They pretty much are its meaning. Then you have cut, copy, copy canvas. So if I copied my canvas, I just copied the layer, and I could always paste the layer again. And then you have canvas. You have the crop and resize canvas. So that means that it lets you actually like see if you the more you go in like that, the better chance is you get of having a different layer. So now I just created myself 17 layers just by how it looks. I'm gonna go down some like this, and now I have 33 layers available because I did what I did. So now you can have 33 layers. This is the way you can get more layers if you need some and you want a 400,000 by 4,000 pixel canvas. Another one, animation assist. You just turn it on and you put different ones. You put, well, not ones, but you put different images for it, and it will all animate together in a cool way. And then, okay, tools. You can always turn it off also. Then you have drawing guide. I use drawing guide a lot for some of my more complicated artwork. So what you can do is you have drawing guide. It pretty much just does what you want. And then you have edit drawing guide, and you can choose isometric, which is pretty much just triangles, perspective, which I don't really have to use perspective before. And then you also have symmetry. Symmetry is the one that I use a lot. And you can pretty much just mess with the color up here. You can always put your favorite color. Doesn't matter. I think I'll just go with like a light pink. And so whatever you put on one side goes to the other. So if I put Keri, well, this is just clear now, but that's the point. And then you can always turn off your drawing guide. Then reference, I don't actually really have to use reference. You can always, this flip canvas horizontally, flip canvas vertically. It pretty much does what you want. Flips just the way you want it to. Share, you can share it many different ways like PNG, JPEG, those types of things. Animated GIF if you did an animation one. Then the video, it plays it's like a time lapse replay. It replays how you did the work and everything. And then you have export time lapse video, and it just, well, I guess it helps. You know, it doesn't help, but you could just see how it went and how it became to be. And preps, I've never actually used preps before, so that would have to be something you can look up in the help button. And so help button is how you can look at, it's the Procreate handbook, it's on the internet, it's on whatever website you use. And you don't need internet to use Procreate, which is the best part. And so you can pretty much just do what you want. I'm going to clear my layers. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write my name. Hold on, that's kind of weird. Keri. So there's my name. At the bottom, I'm going to like write rose. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. So depending on like tutorials and things you see, you can make really great art. So I'm going to do vlogs. Looks kind of bad.